From now onward, we shall move towards the hardcore Arduino programming. Today I'll show you how to install Arduino IDE into your Windows system, and I'll also talk about some functions. Okay, mainly setup function and loop function. So let us get started. To install Arduino IDE, you go to this website arduino.cc. There you will find something called as this software tab. Just click on this and you will find these options. These are basically these three files. They are the setup file for Windows system, and these two are setup files for Linux system, and these two are setup file for Mac OS. Okay, so this is for portable version. This one is the portable version, Windows zip file. In case if you do not want to install, so you can download this one. And other than that, if you are okay with installing Arduino IDE into your system, then you are good to go with any one of these two, that is the first one and the second one. For first one or the second one. Okay, first one is the exe file and the second one is the MSI file. So I would my system is Windows 64-bit system. So I'll download Windows MSI installer 64-bit. This is a 64-bit setup file. So I'll just click and download this one. So download is started. When the download is completed, I'll come back. This is the setup file that I have downloaded just now. Right click on this one and click on install. It will take a few moments. Arduino IDE is now installed in my system. I'll go to this search box and type Arduino ARD simply, and you will find this Arduino IDE app. I'll just click on this one. And now you can see this is the, after you open up the Arduino IDE, this is the first screen that you will see. Okay, so you can see at the very first line, you can see on the left hand side there are line numbers 1 to 10. The first line, at the first line you see something called as void setup, then a parenthesis, then an opening curly brace. And when you click on this, just beside this opening curly brace, you can see the closing curly brace here, okay, also gets highlighted. Okay, now this one that you see, this is actually not required at all. This is something which is not part of the program. Okay, so it starts with double slash. So this is like comment. And then if you go, then again you see something like void, then space, then loop, then a parenthesis, then an opening curly brace, then okay, if you click just beside this opening curly brace, then this one also gets highlighted. So just observe, I click here and see they both are highlighted, meaning that this is the starting of the function and this is the end of the function. Precisely function body. This is the starting of the function body. This is the end of the function body. And inside right now there is something written after two front slash or two slash double slash. Okay. So this is, as I told you, this is not, the Arduino IDE will just ignore this one. Okay, so now we shall see actually what does void, what all these things mean one by one. Stay tuned. You can see in the screen there are some points that I have mentioned, I have written, and these are the points that I'll discuss today in this video. So first I'll talk about what is function, and this parenthesis, this opening curly brace and closing curly brace. You have seen something called void, then setup, then a parenthesis, then an opening curly brace, then a closing curly brace. Okay, so what does this mean? So this is, I'll talk about the whole thing. What does it mean? So first, what is this setup and this? So you see, this is like this, setup and then this. So it simply means that setup is a function. How do you know that setup is a function? It may be some variable also. No, it is not a variable. It is a function, simply because you have this parenthesis. So whenever you see something like a name and then followed by a parenthesis, you will know that that is a function. So now in this case, it is, this setup is a function. Now then you see an opening curly brace, then you see a closing curly brace. What is this? So this is nothing but the function body. Whatever you write inside this, that will be the function body, and you actually write some instructions or statement inside this function body. You write instructions or statement inside this function body. Now what is function at all? Function is actually a block of code that performs certain task. That is why we write these statements, so that it performs certain task. That is what is function. Okay, now when all the statements are executed, or the execution here is completed, at that time what it does is it ends up with something called as a return type. So in this case, the return type is void. So what is void? Void is return type. Okay, so you have seen something void. Void is nothing but return type. What is return type? When the function gets completed, I mean its execution has reached the last line, it has executed the last line, then it goes here, and it returns this value, whatever is returned here. It returns to the compiler this value. Now what is void? Void in this case means nothing. Void literally means empty or nothingness. So in this case, what it does is it this function actually ends up by returning nothing. That is what it means. You write computer programs like this. Okay, now I told you this is the function name, this is the parenthesis, this is the function body. Okay, now there is one more thing. You can actually write something or pass some argument. This is called as argument or input to this function. And where you write this argument, you write this argument inside the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you write argument or input. Okay, but remember that is optional. So you have the liberty to write it or to not write it. It just depends on the situation and the requirement. Sometimes it is required to write the argument, sometimes it is not. So if it is not required, you do not write anything and you keep it blank or empty. Okay, that is what is setup function. Now there is one more thing. See, this setup is an inbuilt function in Arduino. This is an inbuilt function. So what it will do and how it will do, it has already been decided by the Arduino people. Okay, so whatever Arduino people have decided, you have to follow that. I repeat, setup is an inbuilt function, and what it's, I mean, it's a return type, these all, the argument, they all are the function name more than anything else. The setup, this is an inbuilt function, and what will be the structure, how it will perform, all these things is decided by the Arduino people. So you have to follow that. Okay, so this is the very first function that will be executed, and it is executed only once. Only once. It is executed only once, and it is executed at the very beginning. At the very beginning. This is, and second thing, why this setup is used. This is basically, as the name suggests, it is used to set up it is used for initial setup. Okay, and what you do, you just initialize, maybe you initialize variables. So you initialize variables, or maybe whatever libraries you want to use, that you may mention here the libraries. Okay, this is the second thing. Then what else, like if you want to use pin mode function, so by pin mode what you do is you set a particular pin either as input or as output. So you can use all these, all these things, and that I'll show you, gradually I'll show you, but this is what setup function does. Okay, now the loop function also you write something like this: void, then loop, and then the parenthesis, then the opening curly brace, then the closing curly brace. So this is the function name, okay, and this is the parenthesis, and whatever you want to do, you have to write the statement or instructions accordingly inside this function body. That means within this pair of curly braces, opening curly brace and closing curly brace. And this function also, void, this is the return type, that means it returns nothing. Now, as I told you, loop is also an inbuilt function. So this is an inbuilt function. So what it will do and how it will behave, it is already decided by the Arduino people. Okay, though you also use it, you write a statement inside this one that you have control over, but its structure, format, the format is already decided. So this is an inbuilt function. Okay, second thing, it keeps on executing again and again. That means it runs in an infinite loop. Infinite loop. Invariably, whatever embedded system you see, in any embedded system programming, you will find a loop which runs continuously in an infinite loop. And Arduino is also same. It has no exception. So this loop function, it keeps on running in an infinite loop. What does it mean? That it starts the loop function will be executed after the setup execution of the setup function is over. So it will come and execute this statement, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then again it will come back and it will start all over again from the very first statement, then second, then third, then fourth, fifth, sixth, or whatever is there, then again it will. So it it keeps on executing again and again. It runs in an infinite loop. Now one more thing, so I told you this is it runs in an infinite loop. So then why it is used? It is, this function is basically, this is the main task that is performed by the loop function, the statements of the loop function. So it keeps track of if any change is happening in the embedded system, in the system, and if any change is tracked, or it finds any change, then it may respond accordingly. It may respond accordingly. It may not respond also. It depends how you program, how you design the system. Okay. Now one last thing which is also very important, that in generally whenever we write any coding or programming, we call it as programming. But in Arduino world, this programming is termed as sketch, something called as sketch, which is nothing but program. So we'll, I may use this program or sketch. You will know that these are the same thing. You can use them interchangeably. Okay. So that is all about setup function and the loop function. Now you can read this one. You can see a sketch is the name that Arduino uses for a program. Then it talks about setup function also a little bit. Then it talks about loop function also. So you just read this one. Okay. You can see in the screen I have connected the Arduino board. You can see this is the board that I have connected to my PC. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just upload a sketch or upload a program into the Arduino board, and I'll show you something. You can see basically this is the code that I have written. There are two functions, setup and the loop. Setup function starts with this curly braces and ends with this closing curly brace, and loop function starts with this opening curly brace and close with this closing curly brace. Right now you can see in the void setup we have this Serial.begin, then in the parenthesis we write it as 9600, then Serial.println, and then some message, some string, and the string is this message will be displayed only once. Then a delay of 10 seconds. Okay, so I'll make it rather 15. Fine. And then the loop statement starts. Here also we use this Serial.println, the same thing, Serial.println, then a parenthesis, and inside this parenthesis we write something. Then again we deal with this delay function. You can see delay, then there is some number within the parenthesis. Then again, so basically we are dealing with these two functions, Serial.println and delay, and along with that this one, Serial.begin. So I'll talk about these three functions one by one. Okay, I'll explain each and everything. So you just also, I want to remind you that you can see here the serial, the S is capital, S is in capital. Okay, and remaining all alphabets here, all characters here are in small letters. Okay, only this first S of serial is capital. The first line of the setup function is like this, serial with S capital Serial.begin. Then within the parenthesis there is a number, that is 9600, and it ends with a semicolon. So what does it mean? This serial is nothing but an object for serial port. Okay, serial port. Then this is kind of object oriented programming. So we create an object for the serial port, and that is serial with S capital. Please remember this one, that we use the dot operator here, dot operator. So serial, then dot operator, then begin is, I told you, whenever you see this parenthesis you will know that this is a function. So that means begin is a function. So begin, it indicates something which is the beginning or to start something. So this is the serial port, then this is the begin. Begin means start something. So it simply says that start or initiate or begin or initiate a serial communication between the Arduino board and the PC. I repeat, with serial.begin, it simply means that start or initiate a serial communication between the Arduino board and the PC. And what is this 9600? This is nothing but the speed of the communication. This is baud rate. This is called as baud rate. Baud rate, or simply it is also called as bits per second. Bits per second. So that means it is the speed of the communication is 9600 bits per second. So bits BPS. So the speed of the initiate a serial communication and the speed of the communication is 9600 BPS. So this is what it means. So it will initiate a serial communication between your Arduino board and the PC. Okay. Next, what is the next line? Next line is Serial.println. So it is like Serial.println. Then there is a statement, some line, English line or string, and it also ends with a semicolon. Also remember that this semicolon is nothing but it indicates the end of the statement. So when you use this semicolon, that means this is the end of this statement. Okay. So this is the object for serial port. Then println means you print something. What you print? The argument or the input. I told you this is the input. So this is the input. Whatever you write here, that is the input. Inside this, double quotation mark or double inverted comma. So whatever you write, you print that string into the serial port. So I repeat, what does serial.println and this statement indicates? It simply indicates that print this string, whatever you have written inside this double quotation mark, print that string into the serial port. That's all. Okay. And the last statement was the delay. So delay, this is also, it ends with a semicolon. Okay. So delay also, it is an inbuilt function. Already Arduino people has decided that. Okay. So these all basically, they are all inbuilt. They have been provided to you by the Arduino people. Okay. Now this, what is delay? Delay means it waits for some times and it does nothing in that time. Okay, it waits for some times and it does nothing in that period of time. Now delay, What is the input to this delay? The input, as the Arduino people has told you, it is in millisecond. It should be in millisecond. It has to be in millisecond. So say, we already know that 1 second means what? 1 second is equivalent to 1000 millisecond, right? So say you want a delay of 1 second. So what you will write? You will write delay, then 1000 and then semicolon. Then if you want, say you want a delay of 5 seconds, what you will write? What is equivalent to 5 seconds? This is 5000 millisecond. Okay, so if you want a delay of 5 seconds, then you will write something like delay, then within the parenthesis you will write 5000. So it will produce a delay of 5 seconds. So say you want it for, say, 2.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds. Then what you will write? You will write 2500 milliseconds. So you will write a delay, then within the parenthesis 2500. So that is all. This is the explanation of this code. Now we shall go back to the code that we have written. You can see in the screen, this is the same has been used, like Serial.println, Serial.println delay. So what it does is, basically you can see what I am saying, that write something in this, first write something in the serial port. What is the very first message will be? This message will be displayed only once. Then the loop, this function starts, and the first statement will be Serial.println, then beginning of the loop function, then 111, meaning I have written it just to indicate that this is the beginning of the loop function, or this is at the starting of the loop function. Then I put this hash marks just for just to to make it visible clearly. Okay, and then a delay of 5000 means 5 seconds. Then again print Serial.println, and this indicates middle of the loop function, and it is indicated by 222. The first initially it is 111, then 222, then again Serial.println, then a delay, then this serial function. And what is this? This is the end of the loop function, and end of the loop function is indicated by 333, and then a delay, then again it will start all over again from the very first line, means line number 8, then line number 9, then 10, then 11, then 12, then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, then again from 19 it will again go back to 8, and it keeps on executing in this fashion in an infinite loop. So this loop means nothing but an infinite loop. Okay, so now as I told you, I have already connected my Arduino board to my PC. You can see here. Okay, now the first thing that I have to do is I have to provide the information that my Uno board is connected to my PC to the Arduino ID. So I'll do that through Arduino ID. If I click here, you can see Arduino Uno is connected to the COM5 port. So I'll simply click on this one. So now it is showing Arduino Uno. So that means now the Arduino IDE knows that my Arduino Uno board is connected to my PC. Now what I'll do is I'll simply upload this program or this sketch to my Arduino IDE board. How do I do that? You just hover your mouse over this right headed arrow symbol, and you will see something called as upload. It flashes. So just, or you just keep your eyes here. You see this is upload. So I'll just click on this one, and it will upload this whole sketch to my Arduino board. So I'll click on this one. Now to monitor my serial port, what I have to do is I have to click it here. So you can see serial monitor. I'll click here. So this is a functionality that has been seen. This message will be displayed only once, the first one, then 15 seconds of delay, then the beginning of the loop function will start. You just wait for some time, 15 seconds or so, and it will start. You can see now it has started. Then 5 seconds delay, then middle to 1 2, then it will be 3 3, then again 1 2, then again 2, again 3. Now you see after 3 it is 1 again. From line number 19 it has gone back to 8, then 2, then 3. Okay, I hope you got it. Now why I have provided this delay. If you do not provide this delay, then it will happen very fast and you will not actually recognize it. Just to show you how it happens, I have produced that many delays. So just let me remove these delays by putting 2 front slash in front of at the beginning of the statement. So that is how it will turn this statement into a comment. Means it will nothing, it will do nothing, it is completely. So now what I'll do is I'll again upload this sketch to my board. Now you will see these things will happen very fast. I upload and now I'll monitor to my you can see this now. Okay, fine. Now you will see then once this message will be displayed only once. Okay, now you see it is how it is without delay. It is moving very fast and you do not see it actually what is happening. So I suppose you know. So this is the serial monitor. So this is again Arduino people have given it this functionality. So by clicking on this one you can directly watch what is happening inside your serial port. Okay, so that is all for today. We shall meet again in the next video. Thank you.